What makes a Christmas movie truly great? Is it snow, is it music, or is it that quiet feeling you get when a story sticks with you long after the screen fades? Every year the same titles fight for your attention, but some films do more than decorate the season, they define it. Halfway through this list, you'll notice something unexpected about the movies that last the longest, and once you see it, you won't unsee it. Number 14, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, 1964. This movie does not ease you in. It drops you straight into a bold idea and dares you to keep up. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians is one of those films that feels like it escaped from a very confident pitch meeting. Martians notice that children on Earth grow up happy, while children on Mars do not. Their solution is simple: bring Santa to Mars. The result is strange, colorful, and completely sincere. The movie never winks at the audience. It believes in its own logic, and that belief is what makes it memorable. The sets are bright and playful, the performances are earnest, and the message about imagination and joy is delivered without cynicism. This film gained a second life decades later as audiences rediscovered it on television and free platforms. People laughed at it at first, then they started enjoying it for real. There is something charming about how seriously it takes such an odd idea. Watching it now feels like opening a time capsule from an era when creativity mattered more than polish. It may not be polished, but it is unforgettable. That alone earns its place on this list. Number 13, The Santa Claus, 1994. This film starts with a simple question. What if becoming Santa was not a dream, but a responsibility you never asked for? Tim Allen plays an ordinary man who stumbles into an extraordinary role, and the movie builds its humor around watching him resist what is happening to him. What makes this film work is balance. It mixes comedy with warmth without becoming heavy. The jokes come from character, not noise. The North Pole is presented as a workplace, not a fantasy land, filled with routines, rules, and small frustrations. Over the years, this movie became a staple because it speaks to adults just as much as kids. It understands anxiety, change, and the fear of becoming something new. That is why it still works decades later. The pacing is tight, the story is clear, and the heart is genuine. Watching it again feels familiar, like revisiting an old friend who still knows how to surprise you. That staying power is what makes it a classic. Number 12, The Bishop's Wife, 1947. This film moves at a gentle pace, and that is its strength. The Bishop's Wife is not loud, it does not rush, it invites you to slow down and listen. Cary Grant plays a mysterious helper who arrives just when people need guidance most. The performances are warm and understated. There is a softness to every scene. Conversations feel natural. Emotions are handled with care. The film understands that kindness can be powerful without being dramatic. What makes it timeless is its focus on human connection. It is less about events and more about moments, a smile, a quiet conversation, a choice to be patient instead of proud. This movie has survived because it respects its audience. It trusts you to feel rather than be told what to feel. Watching it today feels surprisingly modern in its restraint. It reminds you that sometimes the best holiday stories are the quiet ones that stay with you long after the credits roll. Number 11. Miracle on 34th Street, 1947. Few movies ask such a bold question and answer it so calmly. Miracle on 34th Street explores belief through logic, humor, and warmth. The story follows a man who insists he is Santa and refuses to compromise, even when the world pushes back. What makes this film special is its confidence. It never rushes to explain itself. It allows the courtroom scenes to unfold naturally, building tension through conversation rather than spectacle. The performances feel honest. The child characters are written with intelligence. The adults are flawed but believable. It treats its audience with respect. This movie became a tradition not because of spectacle, but because of sincerity. It invites viewers to consider what belief really means without demanding an answer. That gentle challenge is why it remains powerful. It does not shout. It simply waits for you to lean in. Number 10, White Christmas, 1954. This film is comfort wrapped in color and music. White Christmas is built around friendship, loyalty, and shared history. The story follows two performers whose bond carries them through changing times and unexpected turns. The musical numbers are elegant without feeling excessive. The choreography is smooth. The songs feel earned. Every scene flows naturally into the next. What sets this movie apart is its sense of gratitude. It honors the past without being stuck in it. It understands that memories matter, especially when shared. Watching it feels like stepping into a postcard that somehow still feels alive. It is polished, confident, and sincere. That combination is rare. And it is why this movie continues to feel like an essential part of the season rather than just another replay. Number 9, A Christmas Story, 1983. This movie understands one simple truth. Childhood memories are not neat. They are awkward, exaggerated, and painfully sincere. A Christmas Story is told entirely from that perspective, and that is why it works so well. The story follows a young boy fixated on a single holiday wish. Every obstacle feels enormous. Every adult feels unreasonable. Every small moment becomes epic. The narration ties it all together, turning everyday frustrations into legendary battles of will. What makes the film timeless is how specific it is. The neighborhood feels real. The family dynamics feel honest. Even the embarrassing moments feel familiar. You are not watching a perfect holiday. You are watching a recognizable one. The humor never feels forced. It grows naturally from observation. The movie trusts the audience to recognize themselves in the chaos. That honesty turned it into a tradition, not because it tells you how holidays should be, but because it remembers how they actually felt when you were young. Number 8, Scrooge, 1970. This version of the classic tale leans heavily into mood and atmosphere, and that choice defines its strength. Scrooge is darker in tone than many adaptations, but it is never harsh or overwhelming. Instead, it feels thoughtful and reflective, allowing emotion to surface naturally rather than forcing it. Albert Finney brings real depth to the role. His Scrooge is shaped by routine, habit, and quiet regret rather than cruelty. He feels like someone who has slowly closed himself off from the world. That approach makes the transformation feel earned because the film gives it time to develop. Each visit forces reflection rather than fear, encouraging understanding instead of shock. Music plays a major role in shaping the experience. Songs are woven into the story in a way that feels organic, reinforcing emotion instead of interrupting it. The music supports the narrative rather than competing with it. Visually, the film remains restrained, allowing performances and atmosphere to carry the weight of the story. What truly makes this version stand out is its patience. It does not rush redemption or rely on dramatic gestures. Silence is allowed to do some of the work. Moments linger just long enough to settle. That slower pace gives the story room to breathe. Watching it feels less like channel surfing and more like returning to a well-worn book. It stays with you quietly, which is often the strongest and most lasting kind of impact. Number 7, The Shop Around the Corner, 1940. This film proves that holiday stories do not need snowstorms or spectacle to leave an impact. The Shop Around the Corner is a story about people, misunderstandings, and the slow, meaningful realization of connection. Its power comes from observation rather than grand moments. Set mostly inside a small neighborhood store, the film builds tension through dialogue, timing, and subtle behavior. Conversations carry weight, pauses matter, relationships feel lived in, shaped by routine and shared space. Every glance, reaction, and hesitation adds texture to the story. James Stewart delivers a performance built on restraint. His character does not change overnight. Growth happens gradually, influenced by experience rather than sudden realization. That patience makes the emotional journey feel honest. The romance unfolds naturally, without forcing sentiment or rushing resolution. What makes this movie endure is its warmth. It believes in kindness without pretending the world is perfect. It understands disappointment, misunderstanding, and pride, but refuses to surrender to bitterness. That balance gives the story depth without losing its gentle tone. This is a film that rewards attention. The more closely you watch, the more details reveal themselves. Small expressions, quiet exchanges, and carefully timed moments gain meaning with each viewing. That quiet confidence is why the film continues to resonate across generations. It does not demand attention. It earns it through sincerity, patience, and a deep understanding of human connection. Number 6, The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. This film walks a fine line and never slips, and that is exactly why it still stands apart. The Nightmare Before Christmas is not loud, frantic, or overloaded with ideas fighting for attention. It is carefully built, one deliberate choice at a time. From the opening moments, it is clear this is a story with its own rhythm, its own rules, and complete confidence in its direction. At the center is Jack Skellington, a character driven by curiosity rather than sadness. He is not broken or lost. He is restless. That distinction matters. His journey is not about escaping who he is, but about understanding where he truly belongs. That emotional clarity gives the story depth without making it heavy or slow. The animation feels alive in every frame. Movements are precise and purposeful. Gestures communicate emotion clearly without exaggeration. Nothing feels rushed or careless. The music does more than entertain. Each song pushes the story forward, revealing character, motivation, and inner conflict, instead of pausing the narrative for spectacle. What truly makes the film special is its respect for the audience. It never explains too much or repeats itself. It trusts viewers to follow its logic, emotions, and unique world without constant guidance. That confidence is rare and refreshing. Even decades later, the film still feels original. It does not feel dated or recycled. It stands as a reminder that creativity ages far better than imitation, especially when it comes from clear vision and careful storytelling. Number 5, It's a Wonderful Life, 1946. This film does not begin as a holiday story, and that choice is entirely intentional. It earns its place slowly through patience, structure, and emotional honesty. Rather than rushing toward celebration, it takes time to explore responsibility, sacrifice, and the quiet weight of everyday decisions that shape a life. James Stewart delivers a performance that feels deeply human. His character exists in many emotional states at once. He is kind, frustrated, hopeful, and worn down, often within the same moment. Nothing about the performance feels exaggerated or designed for effect. The film allows time to build his world before placing it under pressure, which gives every emotional moment greater impact. What makes the story truly powerful is its perspective. It does not focus on success, wealth, or recognition. Instead, it focuses on impact. It shows how small choices ripple outward, shaping other lives in ways the main character never fully sees or understands. The film recognizes that kindness is often invisible. That truth gives it lasting strength. When the emotional payoff finally arrives, it feels earned because it is rooted in memory and reflection, rather than surprise or spectacle. This movie lasts because it understands something essential. Life is not defined by grand achievements. It is defined by presence, by showing up, by being remembered as someone who mattered. That idea remains powerful no matter how many times the film is revisited, which is why it continues to resonate across generations. Number 4, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, 1966. This film opens with confidence and never looks back. How the Grinch Stole Christmas wastes no time explaining itself because it does not need to. From the opening moments, it knows exactly what story it is telling and how long it needs to tell it. The animation is simple but highly expressive. Movements are bold without being messy, exaggerated just enough to communicate emotion clearly. Every gesture feels intentional. The narration flows naturally, guiding the story without overpowering it, while the music remains playful, sharp, and instantly memorable. Each element works together rather than competing for attention. What makes this version endure is its clarity. The Grinch is not softened or excused. He is irritated, isolated, and worn down by forced cheer. That honesty gives the story weight without making it heavy. The character feels human in his frustration, which makes his journey believable. The message arrives quietly. There are no speeches and no lectures. The town does not change the Grinch through argument, pressure, or explanation. They change him by continuing together without bitterness or demand. That choice speaks louder than words. This restraint is the film's greatest strength. It says exactly what it needs to say and stops. There is no padding and no excess. Every moment earns its place. Decades later, it still works because it understands pacing, tone, and purpose. That precision is why this version remains definitive and continues to feel perfectly timed. Number 3, A Charlie Brown Christmas, 1965. From the very first note, this film feels different. Where others shout, it whispers. Where others rush, it pauses. A Charlie Brown Christmas speaks directly to anyone who has ever felt overwhelmed by expectations and unsure where they fit. The animation is gentle and intentionally imperfect, matching the emotional state of its characters. Movements feel soft and unpolished, which makes them feel human. Charlie Brown is not searching for joy or celebration. He is searching for meaning. That quiet struggle gives the story its emotional honesty and lasting power. Music plays a central role in shaping the mood. Soft piano melodies create space instead of noise, allowing emotions to surface naturally. Silence is used with purpose, giving moments time to breathe and letting feelings settle without interruption. Nothing feels rushed or pushed. What makes the film timeless is its courage to admit uncertainty. It does not pretend that everything feels cheerful or complete. It acknowledges confusion, frustration, and doubt without trying to cover them up. That honesty makes the story feel sincere rather than idealized. This is why it became a tradition. It does not demand attention through spectacle. It earns it through understanding. Each viewing feels personal, as if the film is quietly speaking directly to the viewer. In a season often filled with constant noise, this story remains powerful because it chooses stillness, and that choice continues to resonate across generations, year after year. Number 2, Home Alone, 1990. This movie moves quickly because it knows exactly what it is doing from the very first scene. Home Alone blends humor, timing, and structure into a film that feels effortless on the surface, but is clearly built with care underneath. Every beat is planned, every moment earns its place. At its core, the story is about independence. A child accidentally left behind is forced to adapt, observe, and think ahead. Confidence is not handed to him. It is built step by step. The comedy grows from preparation and reaction rather than random noise, which is why it still feels sharp instead of chaotic. The house itself becomes a central character. Every hallway, staircase, doorway, and room matters. The film takes time early on to establish this space, quietly teaching the audience where everything is. That patience pays off later when each movement feels intentional and satisfying. What truly makes the movie endure is precision. Nothing feels wasted. Scenes connect cleanly. Jokes land because the setup is solid. The structure is tight, controlled, and confident without ever feeling rigid. Even after decades, it still works because it understands pacing. It never drags, it never rushes, it delivers exactly what it promises and stops at the right moment. That reliability turned Home Alone into a seasonal staple. It is fun without being loud, clever without being complicated, and confident in its simplicity. That is why audiences keep coming back year after year. Number 1, A Christmas Carol, 1951. This version stands at the top because it understands the story at its deepest level. A Christmas Carol from 1951 focuses on consequence, memory, and change without exaggeration or noise. It trusts the power of the story rather than trying to decorate it. Alistair Sim delivers a performance that evolves naturally over time. His Scrooge is sharp, intelligent, and fully aware of his own habits. He is not played as a villain. He is portrayed as someone shaped by routine and self-protection. That choice makes the transformation feel earned rather than sudden. The film's tone is restrained and confident. It relies on atmosphere, dialogue, and performance instead of spectacle. Each visit feels purposeful because it is rooted in recognition rather than fear. The weight comes from understanding, not surprise. What elevates this adaptation is its respect for complexity. It does not rush redemption or simplify regret. It allows contradiction to exist within its characters. Growth happens slowly through reflection and memory rather than dramatic gestures. This maturity is why the film endures. It does not demand attention. It rewards it. Watching it once is satisfying. Watching it again reveals new details, new emotional layers, and new understanding. This is not a story about instant change. It is about realizing the cost of standing still. That honesty gives the film lasting power and relevance. That depth secures its place at number 1, not just as a holiday favorite, but as one of the most thoughtful character studies ever put on screen. So now the question comes back to you. Is the best Christmas movie the loudest one, or the one that stays with you after the decorations come down? These films survived because they offered something real beneath the sparkle. If one of your favorites did not make the list, say it out loud in the comments. Share this with someone who never skips December rewatches. And remember, the stories we return to say a lot about who we are.